Good evening, good evening. Welcome to another Afro-Asiatic Real Talk Forum.
Real Talk Forum, sir. Yes.
And I am Amaru.
Your man Sterlyn Carroll.
And please excuse me, I just got the shower, wash the mane. So I gotta I gotta maintain, literally. So Sterlyn, what's going on, man? What's good?
Man, I am enjoying this heat.
Yeah, man.
Out here, enjoying the sun, getting outside, getting some work done inside, and making the best of our time.
All right. Well, we're here. And we're going to talk a little bit about the latest Afro-Asiatic perspective. But before we do that,
what up?
In light of the COVID-19, a lot of people, especially, our people, melanin-rich people, black people around the world, very spiritual. I have my beefs, I could say, with Western religions. I don't want to go in on them right now, but we're going to give you the Japanese version instead of calling on Jesus.
Yeah.
Japanese people, have been known to call on different spirits called yokai. And there's one called Amabie.
Amabie.
I'm wondering if I can I share my screen? I'm going to try and share my screen here. This has been trending on all over the social networks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So can you tell me if you see my screen?
It's pulling up right now. Yep, I see it.
Okay, so yeah, maybe nothing's wrong. Okay, well, you can see here it's called Amabie, the Japanese monster, and it's going viral. Okay, so people across the world are drawing images of a mythical Japanese spirit believed to ward off plagues. Okay,
COVID. All right.
So we're not going to go through the whole article, but you can, if you want to have a look, you can just go in your search engine, Amabie. If you want to get this exact one, this is from BBC. You can see up here.
Right on. Yeah.
All right. But you you can see here that it says a creature with fishy scales, long hair, 3 fin-like legs, and a beak emerged from the sea.
Yeah, it's kappa. Yeah.
So you can see that's why I got my hair out right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to resemble, and you can see right here is one image of Amabie. Okay, and there's many images going across social networks now. If you check Japan social networks, and actually, I'm not really sure. Actually, the last Real Talk Forum, Real Talk Forum 6, the first version, when I have the weirded out picture, I was trying to kind of give that image. If you notice the image of the weirded out, it looks kind of like the Amabie.
You mean on the thumbnail?
Yeah, on the thumbnail. Yeah.
Okay, I gotta look at it again. I can't remember it now. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, we just want to give you an image. This is the Amabie right here. And again, this is the spirit, a yokai spirit that's used to ward off plagues.
Yep.
Here's another image. This is so it looks like a bird with long hair. Bird, mermaid. Yeah, kind of mermaid. Look at the legs here. Kind of has 4 legs. I thought it was actually a fish, but it's not. Okay. Actually has 4 legs. Okay.
So what is it? What's all the animals together? A chimera or something?
Yeah, chimera or a griffin.
Griffin. Yeah.
Griffin. They're slightly different. I don't know the difference, but actually, one of my high school team was a chimeras. Yeah, I used to be a chimera.
Okay. Oh, there goes the kitsune. Yeah.
Yeah, and these are the more popular ones. The fox spirits, the kappa, the yokai, the tengu. There are a whole lot of different categories, slightly different. But the inari or the fox. Yeah. Yeah, they're very Inari shrines are all over.
Those are definitely those are real big, right? That's especially business as well. Money.
Yeah, the foxes and the what's the other one? The
tanuki.
The what's it called?
Tanuki.
Yeah, tanuki. I'm like, tanuki. Yeah, the tanuki are very, very magical, mythical creatures.
Right.
All right, so I'm going to get off of here so we can, if I can come back. How do I get back?
I be telling the Japanese kids, I be telling the children that the Western version of Kappa is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they always like to watch. I always put the cartoon, the TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, on because it's a chakra story. They represent all the chakras, the turtles. We won't get into it today, but I like to link the two together.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. A lot of the anime or even some of in America, you'll be surprised how many stories, how many images are taken from not just all the mythologies across the world. None of the rich mythologies. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So that's Amabie. So if that resonates with you, we're not trying to scare any of you Judeo-Christian folks. This is just another way of looking at things. You know what I mean? It's it's not all about what you think or what you believe or what anyone thinks and believes. These are different ways of being spiritual. And this goes into the question I ask when I ask people a lot of times, what's different between you and a white person? When all these people, I'm proud to be black, or I'm proud to be this, and if you have the same. And I asked one guy, and he started talking about religion. I'm like, well, as soon as you say the word religion is a Western construct,
right?
You get past the West, we're talking about spiritual pantheons. You know what I mean? Like you say religion, that right there. When you say religion, I think Christianity, Judaism, maybe Islam. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Basically maybe Buddhism.
Which all races cross. All races transition into those. You know what I'm saying? You can be a white Muslim. You could be that doesn't necessarily mean that you're black just because you point out a religion.
Right.
And anybody could be those religions. Yeah. So that doesn't really, actually religion is the first front line of the whole international or the what is it? The interrelation race blending is through that, you know what I'm saying? We're all one people. I love that. I love when people say that saying, like, we're all one human family. I'm like, okay, but what does that got to do with you being black though?
Yeah, I don't know. Let me check the DNA. Are we all the same? I don't know. But we're not here to talk about that right now. But comment on it. If you have comment about that, let us know. But the only thing we want to do is really, again, we talking about spiritual systems. When people talk about, when I say what's different between you, what's the difference between you and a white person? I'm not saying it has to be anything negative, but if you say you're proud to be black and there's nothing different about you except for phenotype, your skin color and your hair texture, how proud are you? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, tell me about, don't tell me about some food, religion. Well, tell me, I want to hear people talk about spirituality. I want to hear people talk about the vibration, your rhythm. You know what I'm saying? How do you move? How, do people look at you and they say, are you talking like this? If you feel like you got to talk like this, then, it's
you still putting on that whitening cream.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This, do you, how much time do you put into being non-threatening? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
But okay. But so if you have any comments about that, please, hit us up. But let's get into the next topic.
See it now?
Yep, I see it.
AfroA 30, social phobias on COVID-19. Right. Yeah. Oh, the girl looks serious, huh? Social distancing equals communism. And they are chilling out there too. The American flags and shit.
Yep.
Huh. All right. So let's get into it. Takuan Amaru. Here we go. The president encouraged protests against his own administration's public health policies. His team greeted it with a collective shoulder shrug. That's by Asawin, what is this? Sueb Singh. Don't want to butcher the name, but a journalist from the Daily Beast. All right. Famed numerologist Tanya Gabriel stated that, quote, 2020 is a very special year of perfect vision and accomplishment. As we near the end of April, perhaps it's still too early to make heads or tails of her prediction. Nevertheless, the biggest accomplishment thus far on a global scale is the now ubiquitous trend called, quote, social distancing. Whether your region refers to the restrictions placed on travel as a stay-at-home order or a movement control order, the fact is everything has been shut down for over a month. President Donald Trump, in response to COVID-19, has declared a public health emergency under the Public Health Service Act and issued 2 additional national emergency declarations via the Stafford Act and the National Emergencies Act. And on March 18th, he invoked emergency powers by means of executive order under the Defense Production Act. Now we've been advised over and over again by the World Health Organization, as well as other organizations, to stay at home, wash your hands, avoid large gatherings, wear masks, etc. Nevertheless, it appears that a certain sector of America is displaying a blatant disregard for authority. More than 100 white nationalist demonstrators gathered in Huntington Beach on April 17 to protest California's stay-at-home order. The scene featured lots of American flags as well as some which proclaimed support for Donald Trump. They were intentionally violating social distancing guidelines and were not shy about letting it be known. Here is what one man who was hosting a Facebook live stream had to say, quote, "We're here in defiance of the governor, Gavin Newsom, and his socialist agenda to ruin our economy. We're definitely not practicing social distancing," end quote. To make matters worse, the overwhelming majority of the vocal participants were not wearing masks as they jeered the, quote, fake virus and, quote, fake hysteria over the constant chanting of, quote, "no foreign vaccinations." Carlos Salcedo, a news report at KTLA 5, stated no arrests were made at Huntington Beach. Furthermore, similar demonstrations by white people were reported in other parts of the United States. What? Interesting. Okay. I personally got interested in this because I thought that people were basically trying to follow the law in the States. When I talk to black people in the States, mainly my family and close friends, ain't nobody talking like this. It's talking about, let's all work together to stay inside, social distance, and all this. Let's keep going. Now, some may criticize the emphasis being placed on the ethnicity of the protesters, suggesting some sort of unfair racial bias. And those people are absolutely correct. However, we must assign the blame where it rightfully belongs. Question: does anyone believe a black fraternity or a group like the NAACP, at any time, but especially now, could hold a public uprising, quote, in defiance of a state governor? Yeah, that's the question. Can you imagine just how swift and violent the police would act if they ever were so foolish? Instead of the peaceful scene on the left of whites chilling at Jacksonville Beach a couple days ago, it might look more like the all too familiar scene on the right. And this is why I was thinking, most of my family and friends are talking as if like you definitely don't want to be in defiance of the government now. So to have these white people coming out protesting as they do, supporting Trump and all that, and not afraid of getting arrested or getting locked down, this all too familiar scene.
So and I went on. I had a little back and forth today on Facebook about this when they really? showed the people, the white nationalists with guns outside the state capitals. I forgot exactly where it was. I think it was in Michigan. It was in Detroit.
Of course.
And so like if you look, you have to start putting ourselves in touch with reality. If these people can stand out on the beach like this and the police are watching, then clearly they're not breaking the law.
Right.
By definition, they're not like they're looking over their shoulder, wondering if the cops are going to come, like they're doing something, like mischievous. No, they're just out there chilling the same way they do all the time.
So let me ask you this then: that's white nationalists, right, or just white people in general in these, let's just say these areas. If a black person did that in a black area, do you think the police would shut them down, or you think the people themselves would come over to you like, "What are you doing, yo?"
Well, again, I haven't been in the States in a while or any place, so I might not be the person to ask. But since you did ask me, I think both things would happen. I think black people, the black people would come out, even if, you causing trouble, You gonna cause trouble over here. You get inside the house. And they would be right, actually, because I believe the cops would come and that's why I wrote it. You would see that scene on the right. As a matter of fact, this has happened. I've heard Tariq Nasheed was talking about it. There was parties in Brooklyn, and they come and break it all up. People getting citations, and getting it, So this double standard is actually taking place. There's been big weddings in the same Brooklyn, the same borough. There was like a Jewish wedding with hundreds of people out there.
Oh, I heard about that. Yep.
Nothing
happened, right? Yep. Yeah. I was talking to my brother about that. Like, you hear about this? Like, they have these weddings and nobody's getting shut down. But then didn't a black family or a group of black people have like a barbecue or something like that and get shut down?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Then you can talk about the restrictions on driving. Jason Black, shout out to him, Black Authority. He was talking about, and that's when they have the codes. Well, actually, I'm going to say that later in the article. I wasn't talking about the driving, but still the coded language. And so, you black, you trying to drive around, they're going to pull you over. So you have to start to wonder again, are they breaking the law? You know what I'm saying? If you can stand out and run in front of the police and do whatever it is you're doing, then you're not breaking the law. Right. So what is the law? That's where we have to start. What is the law? Who really are citizens? See, black people keep on talking about like that's against my rights. Well, they've been doing this against your rights for generations before you were born. Right. So we have to start asking, are you really a citizen? You know what I'm saying? Do these rights really apply to you? And if they do, then how do you keep explaining the Trayvon Martins and the Oscar Grants, and just keep on going down the line? And there was somebody today that we don't even know about, and there's going to be someone tomorrow. Right. You feel me?
And I say that, yep. I haven't even really been to a whole lot of other countries, but any black country where they claim, a lot of times I hear cats over here talking about, well, we're not the same as it is in the States. But I'm like, well, I always think about like what country got slums, and any country that any other cat that's black come from. I'm like, you can just type your country name in and type slum, and it's the same damn slum everywhere you go.
A lot of these people are just out for themselves. They're like, well, I have an education. I'm going to do well. And me and my little clique of Kenyans or Mozambicans or Americans or Jamaicans, and you have a little clique, these little boule-minded groups. Right. Like these brothers I know out here, these grad students from Mozambique. They ain't, I talk to them, they ain't trying to hear none of this. Not nobody. All they want to do is get paid. I'm going to get paid. I'm going to have a Land Rover. I'm going to live here. And a lot of them going to have a white wife. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have a white wife, because everybody, that's the first thing. Oh, here it is. But I'm like, but you don't care nothing about your people at all.
You're not taking it seriously. You're not taking it seriously enough. If you're not taking it seriously, just don't speak on it. Because
they're taking it serious. They're like, I'm out for me.
Okay, I'm
gonna get paid. I don't care. Good luck. You know what I'm saying? I got something going on, and that's all they care about. You know what I'm saying? And like it'll be them and their little clique. It's not just them, the individual. That's where
and I get you, but they be coming off. I'm a very unbiased when it comes to that. If you about getting your own and being selfish, I'm all for it. Fuck them. That's what I think. So if you're like that, just admit it. But don't come to me with that whole say we're the society, like talking to me about society and how society is not like you think it is, Sterlyn. It's better than it is. You're just looking at the negative side of life, and you're like, what are you talking about? Like, the majority of black people are really in a bad spot. You acting like the minute you got over here, you forgot that shit.
Yeah, there's a couple individuals, the Oprahs, the Mike Jordans, you know what I'm saying? But when I was in Gambia and I'm looking around, walking around, or when I was in Jamaica, and you start looking around like, I want to maybe live here, but it's like, even if I could establish something, number one, you're going to have to guard it. And number two, let's say you could do all of that, but could you really relax and chill? And every time you walk around, you seeing all this squalor, You know what I'm saying? People what they know you paid. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, even with the danger aside, I'm talking about can you relax knowing, just seeing all of that that poverty, people just being that desperate. That's where I abandoned that notion. I was like, no, there's no way I can stay in Gambia. I got to have a generator. I got to have, you know what I'm saying? And
right.
You walk out, it's just like desperation. You know what I'm saying? And
and wherever the desperation is, that's where the cops are the most corrupt and the strictest, and beat on their own people the most. So like going back to the States, like when you're talking about these white these white nationalists or all these people having parties and not getting arrested, they have no desperation about them. So the police aren't even on them like that. But when you go to black neighborhoods, I mean, black people are so desperate, they might attack each other. So the cops they feel justified to just crack down all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
In addition, in the white neighborhoods, the whites have already, they've been paid off. Those neighborhoods are paid off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
People, they that's what politics is. Politics ain't nothing but bribing people. You know what I'm saying? So, but black people don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's like black people are the most honest. They're the only people who play by the rules. Everybody else is cheating at the game.
Yeah,
black people playing by the rules and wondering like, why I keep losing? I can't understand why. How did you get blackjack again? How did you do it? You know what I'm saying? Y'all, he is right. I always try to tell black people how to get around the rules, and people be looking at me like, well, you can't do that. And I'm like, are you serious? That's what the whole that's against the rules. You can't do that.
The rules.
Everybody else breaks the rules, but black people have this notion where we have to follow the rules, and it just it's dumbfounded. But let's go on. Let's move. Let's do this, man.
All right, man. All right, let's get into it. I'm sharing my screen once more.
All right.
Sorry about that, y'all. I feel like we're gonna break away from it there. All right. Good article so far. All right.
Hope so. Thank you.
Here we go. There is another conclusion. All right, that's where I'm at. Oh, no, I'm up to here. We already know the double standard exists, but even beyond the normal hypocrisy, do white nationalist groups know something the rest of us do not? Even if they don't, why is it their gatherings are not viewed by the government as dangerous? Again, let a group of Mexicans decide to hold a protest and see what happens. Any violence or arrest made, and there would definitely be some, would be chalked up to, quote, the need for public safety. Moreover, white folks everywhere would be shaking their heads in contempt and pointing their fingers. So why aren't white gatherings deemed unsafe? Why do police officers just stand around and allow them to disregard the mandate? Is it possible that COVID-19 is either not as lethal or is not spread the way it has been commonly reported? It just seems logical that if the U.S. government really believed the coronavirus was the second coming of the bubonic plague, they would not tolerate any of these gatherings. And this is not any hyperbole. This is the way it's being played off as, for real.
No doubt.
There is another conclusion. Perhaps the stay-at-home order is only for, how should I put it? The lower classes. Bingo. This would explain why there are very few darker complexioned people at the beaches or holding demonstrations. Is it possible the restriction to remain at home is only, quote, really aimed at non-whites? Is this what Colorado's House Minority Leader Patrick Neville, who happened to be a Republican, was hinting at when he likened the stay-at-home order with a, quote, Gestapo-like mentality? Radio show host Zoe Williams of the Zoe What Show has discussed the possibility of a reestablishment of the social order. In other words, the ruling class is using the outbreak of COVID-19 to reset American society more in accordance with white supremacist values. Tariq Nasheed, producer of the Hidden Color series, claims that whenever it is stated in the media that only some areas should be restricted, this is how white nationalists, quote, blow silent dog whistles to each other. Yeah. According to Tariq, due to their large populations of melanin-rich people, cities like Detroit, Atlanta, or New Orleans have become politically correct tags for blacks, while references to rural areas, quote, rural areas, mean white folks. Yeah, they switched the codes up, they switched the language up. I remember that when my this brother who helped me come to Japan, he was like, yo man, gay is the new black. I was like, what? And I remember that. I was like, gay is the new black. And when he said it, I ain't gonna lie, it almost rang true to me. I was like, it is coming off like that.
Yeah, they've definitely put a black face in for gay. And that's the thing that, whenever I'm talking about it, that's all I'm talking about. Not being gay, but why every time, because to me, when you talk about gay people, I think of European society.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This gay thing with black people is new in overwhelming numbers.
Exactly. And it's almost at a religious movement right now. Yeah,
it's almost, or even a fad. There's people that hey, let me just try a dick in my mouth. Like they think it's cool. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna let me just try this out.
Right.
Like trying a different style. Let me get a Jerry curl or something. You know what I'm saying?
It's almost a vanity. Yeah, it's like
a tattoo.
Yeah. Wow. Let me get a tattoo and let me get a dick in my mouth are equal now. God. Okay, let's just keep going. Oh, you got that tattoo on your arm, huh? Like, yeah, I've been wanting to get it for a minute. Like, yeah, I had a dick in my mouth last week. Like, what?
What you talking about? Hey, what you talking about, man? I'm talking about tattoos, B. No, we just talked about in the last section, right? About rural means white folks, and and the dog whistling. So that's why I'm saying, like, a lot of people start, that sounds like a conspiracy theory, like, we're saying that white nationalists, they're able to communicate with each other through coded messages. So that kind of that sounds kind of conspiratorial,
Right. So, yeah, you got your little tin hat on. Let's get our tin hats on. Does this sound a little too conspiratorial? Good, because it's meant to. This is my intent. However, once again, let us be sure to place the focus where it belongs. According to the Census Bureau, so-called ethnic and racial minorities will comprise a majority of the population somewhere around the year 2042. Really? Surpassing who. White people. If you do not think the ruling class is shaking in their boots over the changing of the guard, oh, good term, the changing of the guard, you're not in touch with white fragility. Last year, I discussed this very topic with a white man, and not just to say any white man. We all know one or two whites who we want to believe are not racist. You know what I'm talking about. The kind of guy who, had he lived in the American South during the chattel slavery era, might have been an abolitionist. Well, anyway, my, quote, white hope was named Jeff. And during our conversation, Jeff got upset because he claimed that I always casually lumped him into the same category with known white supremacists. This, in spite of his efforts over the years to prove he was not a bigot. And we delved deeper into the discussion. I got him to admit that not only was he proud of being white, but in addition, he was looking forward to having both children and grandchildren who looked like him, his family and his fiance's family, which is natural, who happens to be from German-Irish stock. Before I could continue, he lashed out. What's wrong with that? There it is. I was thinking that. Like, what's wrong with it? He wants his kids to look like he does, want them to look white. You always talk about being proud of your ancestral line. That's what the guy says. One more time, he quotes, what's wrong with that? You always talk about being proud of your ancestral line. And he's saying you as in he's talking to Tak, right?
Exactly.
True, Tak replied, or true, I replied. But it's not the same because I'm a descendant of the original Asiatic man and woman. Quote, black people. I continued, are the alpha and the omega, the beginning and the end. I'm sorry. Okay, let's go back one more time. Black people, I continued, are the alpha and omega, the beginning and end. When he sneered at this, I brought it down a level and pointed out that according to the Census Bureau projections, it is the natural course of events for white people to be wiped out sooner than later, to become extinct. Quote, with this in mind, end quote, I concluded, quote, with unnatural policy, law, or strategy, are you prepared to take part in or look the other way when it's being implemented? in order to ensure the existence of your white posterity. End quote. Bingo. As you might guess, Jeff had nothing else to say because they don't think that far into it. You're right. This is why white people who I hang out with, we can discuss these things. Oh, you ended it right there. Oh shit.
Look at the picture.
The Negro Project. Poor, black, and undesirable. Oh shit.
And look what's this. Learn more about the 1939
Planned Parenthood Initiative. Yeah, that's when they were more obvious about it.
Yeah.
And I'll give you this. I'll give anybody this. Okay. Ignorance is bliss. And I will say this: when I hang out with black people in Japan, the thing that I mentioned before about how black people don't want to hang out with each other, they'll hang out with each other. They just don't want to talk about black issues, and black issues being the strife and struggle that we got to go through.
Right.
Most people are busy talking to me about how good everything is now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like how all that stuff is done now, Sterlyn. And I'm like, okay, they might have hidden it better, but white people are trying to exist in this reality. And the only way to do that is limiting your population through physical means. You know what I'm saying? Like, this got nothing even to do with like hating each other or disliking each other. It's got nothing to do with that. You got to look at this logically.
You know, but most black people, especially the educated black people that I meet, and especially the ones we're focusing on Japan. I mean, the ones that I meet, these people are they're betas, man. They're very betas. You know, they're so-called educated, and that's what the problem is, because they really think that they know something, and that's why we're even concentrating. We're talking about, like, when you start looking at it, you got one experience, you know what I'm saying, coming over here, and you're not really thinking about it deeply, because see, black people don't understand that they're in a chess game. They're thinking, like you said, everybody, let's all be together, but nobody else thinks like that.
Nobody.
No one else thinks like that, and you're on the bottom.